So, guys, this morning the U.S. military carried out its fourth strikes on boats this week in the Eastern Pacific Ocean. Three more people are dead. This brings the total now to 205 people killed on boats since September of 2025. No trials, no charges, no evidence still not presented to the public. No declaration of war, no authorization from Congress. Just a missile and fireballs, and a body count that keeps getting higher. Now, I want to be real careful here because this is a topic where it's really easy to score cheap political points on both sides of the aisle. I'm not here to do that. I'm a veteran, Navy veteran. I believe in our military. I believe in the defendant of the United States of America. I do believe drugs are destroying America, communities across our nation. Yes, that is true. And something has to be done about that. But I'm also took an oath to serve and defend our Constitution. And what I watching unfolding here right now that's going on since September makes me have very serious question about our government and about what's really going on here, guys. So today we're going to talk about what's happening with the drug boat strikes, the facts, the legal questions, and my honest take as a Navy disabled veteran take on whether this is the right way to fight the war on drugs. This is the Whiskey Tango Foxtrot Veteran Podcast, guys. Let's get into it, guys. So let me start by saying this because there's a think of a lot of people who have not seen the headlines. The headlines are gone. It's not in the news like it should be like that. But doesn't it take from a full picture of what's going on here? Because we got war with Iran and a lot of other things going on. People are forgetting about the drug boat strikes that's been going on since last year. Started September 2025. To be exact, the Trump administration began conducting lethal military strikes on boats on the Caribbean Sea and the Eastern Pacific Ocean. This started justification that vessels are carrying drugs. That's what the Trump administration said, but we still haven't seen the facts and evidence yet. Narcos boats have been smuggling into the United States by the cartel. The Trump administration declared that the U.S. is in quote conflict with Latin American drug cartels. And on the basis of that declaring, they began authorizing the military, not law enforcement, not even the Coast Guard, the actual U.S. military to blow these boats up with the people still on them. Now we can upper in all rigs and different things like that. We can board these boats and ships and take these people that's trying to smuggle them in the country by force and arrest them and give them proper trial and get their legal right, give them proper trials and whatever the case may be. So why blow them up? Let's keep going here. Here's how it worked in practice. U.S. Southern Command, Southcom, identified vessel that said is transport drugs on its route coming to the United States. It labeled the vessel as being operated by a designated terrorist organization. Just how they labeled us to get away with this. And then it liked to strike, typically a missile that destroyed the boat and killed everybody on board. After each strike, Southcom posts a statement on X, formerly Twitter. The language is always almost identical. Quote, intelligence confirmed the vessels were transmitting drugs from narco terrorists through the trafficking routes and was engaging in narco trafficking operations. And that's it. No evidence, no name, no documentation, no proof of drugs or anything going on. Just these are terrorists, local terrorists, and we have mission to blow them up. We have intel. Trust us, bro. That's it. They're dead. Move on. So today, as of this morning, 205 people had been killed in these strikes. More than 50 separated attacks since September 2025. That across the Caribbean Sea and the Eastern Pacific Ocean and international waters. So where's the Coast Guard in this? Where's any justice at all? No, don't look like it. And here's a number that should stop you in cold. In at least one instance, the very first strike that happened on September 2nd of 2025, after the initial missile hit the boat, two people survived. It was in the water, shipwrecked, and the U.S. military came back and hit that boat a second time, killing both of them instantly. So you had two survivors in the first boat attack, September 2nd of 2025. Two survivors. Instead of going picking them up, arresting them, whatever, they came back. They double tapped that same area and killed them. So they look like they want no witnesses. They want nobody to talk about what they're really doing here. That's bullshit. We don't work like that in America. Members of Congress who watched the videos of those strikes said the military killed shipwrecked sailors. Some call it war crimes. And I think the Iran war, the war with Iran and what's going on in Cuba is not going to be the downfall of the administration here. It's going to be the narco drug boat attacks that's going to get them in the hottest water here. This is why I'm running this story here. Now, the families of two Trinidadian men killed in one of those strikes had filed federal lawsuit against the American government. The ACLU is suing to force the Pentagon and the State Department to release the classified legal option that supposedly justify all of this. Yes, we need to see the paperwork. I want to see the facts as well. And the Pentagon own Inspector General is now elevating these operations and watching over them as well. This is where we are today. Is this even legal? I want to talk about the legal framework here because I think this is where things get really complicated, and I don't think most of the coverage is doing a good job of explaining this. So let's start with the basics. Before September last year, drug trafficking at sea were handled by law enforcement, the DEA, the Coast Guard, federal prosecutors. When suspected drug smugglers were caught, they were arrested, they were brought to court, given due process, tried, convicted, and imprisoned. That was our system, should always be American system. The Trump administration changed all of that fundamentally with a classified legal option produced by the Office of Legal Counsel at the Justice Department. That option reportedly declared that these cartels are unlawfully combatants, a military designation, and the U.S. is engaged in non-international armed conflict with them. This is an enormous legal leap here. Here's why. A non-international armed conflict, which is a legal term for a civil war or a conflict against a non-state armed group, has a specific definition in international law. It requires a certain level of organizations and intensity of violence. Legal experts, the overwhelming majority of international law scholars, say there's no colorable argument that the U.S. meet that definition in the conflict with the drug cartel. Even more importantly, and this is critical, Congress never authorized this. And that's the key here. If Congress do their job here, a lot of this just stop instantly. The Constitution gives Congress the power to declare war. The War Powers Resolution requires the president to notify Congress and get approval for certain military operation. None of that's happened here. The Trump administration simply declared itself in armed conflict unilaterally and started launching missiles. Now here's when it gets even more serious. After the September 2nd incident where survivors were killed in the follow-up strikes under international humanitarian law, the law of war, and under the U.S. military own law of war manual, target individuals who are out of combat, including people who are shipwrecked, and extremely prohibited. The Second Geneva Convention simply protects shipwrecked members of armed forces. Rep. Ted Lua, who served in the Air Force JAG course, so he knows this law, said, quote, killing shipwreck survivors is a war crime. He called for the DOJ investigation. He said, if the Trump administration does not hold these people accountable, I guarantee you the future administration will. Yes, they will, because this is no statute of limitation for war crime. There's not. You could be there's no justice or limitation. The Trump administration may be careful here. Now the administration pushed back. Pete Hegseth have said the follow-up strikes were legal and justified. Pete Hegseth will be done sooner than later. He said the survivors may have still been in the fight. I'm not going to even say nothing more. So SOCOM Admiral Bradley testified to Congress that there was no specific kill order. Bullshit. Bullshit. Here's what I'm keep coming back to. The legal justification for the entire campaign is so-called still classified. We need to get answers on that and get it unclassified. The American public cannot read it. The ACLU is suing just to find out what legal theory the government is using to kill 205 people in international waters. Yes, we need to find out. That alone should tell you something. Yes, it should. So, what's the case for the strikes? And why is it the major problem? So let's really talk about, let's get more detail, guys. Now I want to be fair. I want to make the strongest possible case for what the administration is doing and what justification they have for all of this. The argument goes like this. So let's defend this good, the side of the government why they're doing it. Drugs are killing Americans. Yes. Fentanyl alone is responsible for tens of thousands of overdose every year here in America. The cartel producing and trafficking these drugs are specifically violent, well-funded criminal organizations. Yes, that is true. They have corrupted entire government, judicial law enforcement approach, inherent in arrest, prosecution, and have not solved the problem. After decades of war on drugs, the drugs are still flowing into America. Yes. So the argument here, if they are ineffectively paramilitary organization raising war in American communities, why shouldn't we treat them like military threats that they are? That's a good argument. I understand the argument here, and I don't dismiss it. That is a true argument. But you still have to have proper rights and get approved for Congress. So I understand what the Trump administration might say justified, but still levels to this shit we have to do before we do what we did. But here's why this is the problem. Problem number one, there's no evidence that's being presented to the public. Yes, if that's the case, you've got to be transparent and show the people what you're doing and why they are a major threat and what's really here. You have to show evidence. You've got to be transparent. I want to say this again clearly. The U.S. government is killing people, up to 205 people, and providing zero public evidence that any of these boats was actually trafficking drugs. None of it. The only thing Southcom has said is intelligence confirmed there were known drug routes. That's it. That's not good enough. You know what else is in the route? Fishermen routes. People in small boats who live in the work area, the working waters and stuff. How confident are them that 205 people, every single one of them, were trafficking drugs? What if they're trafficking people? And there's innocent men and women, boys and girls on those boats, and you're blowing them up. Same thing here. This is why we should be boarding these ships, these boats, and seeing what the actual smuggling or what's actually on it. It could be fish. It could be people. It could be drugs. But how do we know we're just going to blow them up out the water? That's bullshit. Problem number two is not actually solving the drug problem. It's not. Here's a fact that almost never get mentioned in coverage of these strikes. Most of the fentanyl killing Americans does not come from the boats coming through the Caribbean. It comes over land across the southern border, manufactured in Mexico with precision chemicals from China and India. The Coast Guard use non-lethal interaction seizes most drugs that come from the boat strikes will ever do. Yes, Coast Guard board these boats to get the drugs. Instead of doing these boat mission strikes is bullshit. Pete Hegseth claimed in one of his posts, quote, some top cartel drug traffickers have decided to cease all narcotic operation indefinitely due to the recent highly effective kendo strikes. He provided no details, no evidence, and Southcom wouldn't answer follow-up questions about this claim. And the problem number three, procedure. What happened when the next administration used the exact legal framework to declare armed conflict against a different group? You have now established that an American president can unilaterally declare military operation against any organization that designated as a terrorist threat. That's dangerous. Without Congress approval, without due process, without public evidence, and start killing people in international waters, or even here in America. I defend the country against foreign and domestic enemies. Yeah, we ain't worry about international water. What do we get? MAGA? What we get? A group here, white supremacists or black, whatever, BLM, that designate terrorist organization, and drone strikes come in your back door next to your house in America. See, when you open the Pandora box, shit can happen. That's why it's dangerous. So my honest take, I'm gonna give you here. All right, here's my honest take here. I'm gonna give you my honest take as a Navy veteran. I want to be upfront. This is complicated, and I'm going to try my best to be honest where it's uncomfortable. I believe in fighting the war on drugs hard. I've seen what these cartels can do. I've seen what fentanyl done to families, communities, the veterans, veteran, young and old, people across the country. I've seen it all. The anger behind these strikes, I understand, but I cannot swear what I'm seeing the value I'm served under. Here, what I was taught. Here's that every service member has been taught. You do not kill without proper identification of your target. You do not kill without legal authorization. You do not kill without proportionally going against any orders on your own. You are absolutely do not kill people who are no longer a threat. The double tap of the first strikes in September. People are shipwrecked in the water. You do not kill back and double tap that. They are not optional guidelines. These are the rules. These are what separate military from death squads. This is what separates America from other countries, third world countries. The September 2nd strikes, the double tap on survivors in the water. If that happened the way Congress witnesses say it happened, then this is not a gray area anymore for me. This is a violation of the law of the war, and I do not care what administration did it. Wrong is wrong. Exactly. Wrong is wrong, guys. Now here's what I want to say to anyone who wants to frame this as simply partial issues. As Democrat versus Republicans, as soft on crime versus tough on crime, whatever case. Representative Ted Lieu, who called this a war crime, served in the Air Force JAG Corps. He is not some liberal who doesn't understand the military. He knows the law of armed conflict. His options carry weight. Yes, it does. Mine does as well, the better. And there are Republican senators who will ask that same question here. This is not entirely a party line issue among people who actually understand the law of war. We all should know. And here's the bottom line here. If these strikes are working, show us the evidence, show us the proof. The Trump administration be declassify what you classify, why you're doing this, and show the people your evidence and show us if you're proud of your work. You should be proud of it, showing us everything. We shouldn't even ask for it. We shouldn't be have to go in to pull teeth to get information and showing what you've been doing and why you're doing it. Release the intelligence information that identify these boats as drug boats. Show us the cartel connection. If the program is as legit and effective as administrative claim, transparency make it stronger, not weaker. If they won't do that, then I think we have the right to ask very hard questions about what is being done in our name and with our military and our mainly the main thing with our tax dollar. That's the main thing. And I'm gonna tell you, 25 people are dead. We don't know their names. We don't know they have families. We don't know if any of them was innocent at all. That should bother you as an American. We shouldn't just be killing just to kill. That should bother every American, regardless what party or what side you say you represent. Because the day we stop asking no question, the day we are no longer Americans. Simple as that. So, all right, so let's bring up this home with 3 things I want to take away from this. Takeaway number 1, this is happening still right now. 4 strikes this week. 25 people dead since September. The Pentagon Inspector General is investigating. This is federal lawsuits are coming as we speak. This story is not going away, and deserve your attention as well as mainstream media as well. I'll take one number two. The legal questions here are real and serious. The U.S. military is conducting lethal operations in international waters without a declaration of war, like also overseas in the Middle East as well, without Congress authorization and without presenting public evidence. That combination have never been done before. The classification legal options here, justification should be made public to all American and everybody who want to read it and see it. My takeaway as number three: supporting the military does not mean never asking questions. I serve this country. I love my country. I believe in the men and women who put that uniform every day as I have in the past, and it precisely believe because I believe in them and I hold them up to the leadership and I hold them to a higher standard. And the politicians who direct them to the highest, even higher standards. This is what accountability look like. I'm not blaming my brothers and sisters who's following orders. Now, if it's the unlawful orders, you do not follow it. Just don't kill, but kill because you got orders. Got to start questioning as well, military. You do not follow unlawful orders. You haven't got a legal reason to be killing these people on these boats, you need to stand back or you will resign your post. One way or another. I want to hear from you guys out there in the comments. Do you think these drug boat strikes are justified? Justified I mean whatever it takes to stop the drugs, or do you think the lack of transparency in legal questions make there something to be alarmed to all Americans? Drop your comments in the comment section, guys. I genuinely want to hear what you want as a veteran. I want to hear your thoughts and take on this. If you find it value, guys, on the veteran perspective on these stories, guys, hit this like, subscribe, share the video, guys. I'm trying to do a video every day if I can, a video like that. Let me know how you feel on this one. This is big, should be breaking. We all should know about it, but we know mainstream media going to try to cover this up. The Trump administration is going to try to sweep this under the rug and stuff like that. But let me know in the comment section, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Please share the video, guys. And thank you for being